So let's have a look at applying the law of causation with a rather disturbing little scenario involving Julia and a burglar. So let's have a look at the scenario. So we've got a burglar breaks into Julia's third floor flat and enters her bedroom where she is asleep. Julia wakes up, sees the burglar, and in a state of panic, jumps off the balcony of the third floor and breaks both her legs. So the question is here, is the burglar going to be found to have caused those injuries and so potentially charged with something like GBH, either a Section 20 or a Section 18? So the first thing we look at is factual causation, of course, and we ask that question: would the injury or death, Julia's broken legs, have happened if it hadn't been for the actions of the defendant? And of course here the answer is they wouldn't have happened. So there is factual causation. In terms of factual causation, he has caused the injuries to Julia. Legal causation. Were the defendant's actions more than minimal in causing the death or injury? Now, the causes of the death or injury are, of course, the burglar entering the property, but another cause is, of course, Julia herself jumping from the balcony. But it's suggested that still the actions of the burglar are more than minimal. They don't have to be substantial, but they're more than minimal in causing those injuries, even though Julia herself did have some part to play, obviously, in the injuries happening. And then the last bit we look at is there a possible break in the chain from a third party? It's not a third party here. It's the actions of the victim. Did the victim do anything to break that chain of causation? For the victim to break the chain, their actions must be unreasonable. And there will be no break in the chain if the action is a foreseeable response, something we might expect someone to do in this situation. And I would argue here that a young woman waking up in the night and finding a burglar, especially the way he's dressed, in her flat, her response in attempting to escape is a foreseeable response. And so there is no break in the chain of causation. So in terms of causation, he has factual causation, legal causation, no break in the chain, and so could be held and would be held responsible for the injuries to Julia.